What's up, guys? Happy Sunday. Chuck Silver and Smitty here with Occupy Fantasy to bring you the strategy for DraftKings and FanDuel. Hopefully, you're sweating this Eagles game versus my Rams. Again, I'm a casual Rams fan, but we still root for the home team. It's not looking great. Both teams suck. Smitty, how we doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Ready to break down this slate. Been watching NFL, so should be fun.
Yeah, I've been more focused on NFL this weekend. Pretty cool. Got a $150 ticket on FanDuel yesterday. There's a lot of overlay on FanDuel, even on the NFL slates. The NBA slates today though have massive ticket overlay, so go hit those up. They have one extra game over on FanDuel today. It starts an hour earlier than DraftKings, as you know. We hate that. But it is Denver Orlando, so we're just going to talk about that game first and get that out of the way. Let me just pull this up real quick. So let's start with the Denver side. We have a 7-point spread, 223 total. It's not terrible. We don't have super strong totals today, so this is fine. Jokic, it sounds like he's in. Aaron Gordon, it sounds like he's in. Maybe they were already confirmed in. But what are you looking at on Denver over on FanDuel?
Yeah, fully healthy Denver team. Not a ton of interest here. Most of them are kind of priced for Jokic being out or Murray being out or just different things that they've been through. But I have a few percent of Jokic, a couple percent of Murray and Westbrook, but that's mainly it. I don't see any priorities. I think just saving the spots for later games makes sense.
Yep, I agree. On my rough early FanDuel run, I have no more than 2% of anyone on this team, but I do have 1% of 5 players, so I don't know if that means anything. On
Yeah,
the
good luck
Orlando
on that.
on the Orlando side, though, you mentioned that you have some heavy exposure to someone here, so tell me about that.
Yeah, I have a lot of Banchero here. Sitting at 50% right now. Probably bring that down, but in my early runs, I was getting a lot. I like it going against this Denver defense. It's in Orlando as well, which is always nice. But uh, Paolo looks good here, and then KCP in a revenge spot against Denver. I think looks like a pretty good value play. Shooting guard eligible on FanDuel makes sense. I'm also getting to some Cole Anthony and Wendell. So really, just this whole team looks pretty solid here.
Well, once this comment pops up in my feed, our boy the douche is with you on Paolo.
All right, perfect.
I just want to point out, Paolo, 9.8 OF index value scores are not good, points per dollar. We haven't projected for 31 minutes. Do you know? Oh, oops. Pull up the lineup stuff in a minute. Um, Beyond Paolo, while I pull that up, Wendell Carter and Cole Anthony were the next two players I was looking at. And then I guess KCP, you mentioned him to me earlier too. So are you getting more of him versus those first two I mentioned?
Yeah, for me, it's Paolo and then KCP. I just think KCP looks pretty solid here. Just kind of that good value guard. There could be better stuff later, so I don't want to go all in on KCP. But if he's in like a quarter of my lineups, I'd probably be okay with that. And then, like you said, Cole Wendell. I'm also getting to a little bit of Isaac. Nothing crazy. Just feels a tough position on FanDuel. And then I'm even getting to Tristan Da Silva and Anthony Black somewhat.
Yeah, it just looks like if you're on FanDuel, you have no choice but to play a bunch of pieces from this game. Uh,
Yeah, normally I'd want to be underweight because it's the first game of the night, but it looks too good, and they're going against one of the worst defenses. I was trying to pull up to see how many minutes Paulo played.
I can't pull it up on DraftKings after all that effort I put in.
Uh, I have it.
Yeah, Smitty got us.
Last game he played 29. He shot 20 times.
Okay, so this was my problem last time Paolo was on the slate. We had him projected for 30 or 31 minutes, but he hasn't played that yet, so it's kind of tough to project him that way. I mean, it seems like his minutes limit is 29-30.
They did
29.
lose by like 30 though, so maybe that factored in.
Okay, maybe he has a potential to play more. Yeah, you're happy with the 31-minute projection though?
Yeah, I'd probably feel more safe at like 30.
And then
I was
so
trying to see when he came out.
I'm interested in Paolo. We know he has a ceiling. I will mention he, like in terms of OF ranking versus the rest of the slate today. This is only on the FanDuel games. He's down here, 8,600. There's a few guys cheaper than him that rank better than him, but he doesn't look awful. I will say the ownership is probably slightly high according to the model. And then a couple other guys in Orlando, FD value. KCP is really the only one that stands out. Wendell Carter's playable. The 4,900 on DK we'd be interested in. If you're playing like a single game contest over there, Wendell Carter's probably pretty solid. I'm assuming that he's value priced on the single game since he is on the main slate. But yeah, other than KCP and maybe Paolo, this team's kind of tough, I think.
Yeah, so Paolo didn't play the last 7 minutes of the game, so he probably lost at least his closing rotation, so maybe 4 or 5 minutes, which is actually kind of big.
Oh yeah, you give Paolo an extra 4 minutes, he's probably shown up in all our lineups at the price. So yeah, I mean, like Smitty said, there's a lot of pieces we're interested in, but again, it's the first game, and I don't know. I don't think we want more than a couple Orlando players in our lineups.
No.
Let's hit some comments. What's up, Heath? How we doing? Jose, best plays that are not Kings players? Yeah, we'll try to find them. It's tough. Bot boys, let's get this money. A lot of members have been having screenshots every night anyway, so let's keep it rolling. Watching your Eagles. Good luck, man. Your Eagles, my Rams. It's just all bad. Definitely not playing Tyrese. Don't axe me. I mean, I've talked about fading. I didn't say to fade yesterday. I've been talking about it in general, though. We're not very high on Maxey, especially at this new price.
No.
I see a question about OKC
Play
value.
Ricky Council.
Just play Ricky Council, who I was like kind of whatever about yesterday. I ended up playing all the minutes and put up a really good score.
I'm glad.
The douche told us if he plays Paolo, he's probably not playing any other Magic unless game stacking that game. That sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I like that.
And then, do we think the better value is possible to unlock on the OKC side, which looks like a rest spot? Yeah. So this is now we're starting on the DK slate. So this game is on. I guess the rest of the games are on both sites. But OKC, they have some stuff on the injury report. I'll just point out. Well, Smitty, go ahead and hit the injury report actually first.
Yeah, Jalen, the forward, was a late add to the injury report. He's questionable. So, with this large of a spread, I personally just assume he's out. And then SGA is questionable. I don't know about SGA. He don't seem like the type to sit just because they're large favored. So, I think if he can play, he's probably going to. And then they're still without Hartenstein, Chet, AJ Mitchell, and then Topic.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one today. Hope actually we probably won't have that news before the stream ends since we started a little early to accommodate FanDuel. So, what's your lean?
Let me pull up DraftKings right now.
Trying to pull this. Jalen Hurts just got sacked for a safety.
DraftKings right now, I think Jalen, the big, looks pretty good. I think without Jalen Williams, assuming he's out, he looks even better. They don't have him to play minutes at the 5, so I like going there. SGA, if he plays, is going to look pretty decent. And then assuming Jalen's out, I think Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, Kenrich, and Wiggins, they kind of just all have an increased minutes ceiling. I don't think it benefits a single one, like a specific one. I just kind of think it's a multiple people. So they all kind of look good to mix into lineups, especially at their prices.
Yeah, last time when SGA was rolled out, Jalen Williams was already a very strong play by OF Index, but he shot up after that. And then Cason Wallace was near the top of the model. He wasn't number one on this team, though. Was it Jalen Williams?
I think so.
Okay, because Lou Dort was pretty high too, but you guys already know who I'm going to say I like here. It's Cason Wallace and Lou Dort, especially if SGA or Jalen Williams sits. I mean, Cason Wallace more so if SGA sits, and then Lou Dort I'm probably going to be interested in no matter what, 4,400. Like, he should be above 5K. Cason Wallace too on DraftKings, at least closer to 5K. At only 15% ownership, these are two of my favorite value spots of the day, and the model is on board, both better than 16 DK value, I'm sorry, and J. Lynn Williams. Also better than 16 DK value. I have more than this 28% right now.
Yeah, I do too. I have 46% on DraftKings right now.
Isaiah Joe got mixed in. Did he close? Did he finish the game last time? I know he was in there towards the end.
I think he did close, but I'm not sure if that's because Aaron Wiggins fouled out or not.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
probably just depends, like who's shooting good.
Yeah, Joe had a really bad game. So Aaron Wiggins fouled out pretty early in the fourth quarter. They brought Isaiah Joe in for 2 minutes, brought Kenrich Williams in for 3 minutes after that, and then Isaiah Joe and Kenrich both played the last minute of the game. So it's hard to get a lot from one game rotation, especially if the good Jalen Williams sits, because then that just throws another wrench in the rotation. But I will mention the center, Jalen Williams, played 31 minutes. Lou Dort played 35. Aaron Wiggins only 23, but I mean, he might have lost 12 minutes to foul trouble. And then Kason Wallace 37 minutes. So if SGA sits, I'm pretty sure that none of these minutes are going to be projected correctly. Granted, it's going to be a gigantic spread. I mean, I don't want to like just throw numbers out here, but if SGA sits, do you anticipate this spread moving like significantly, like more than two or three?
It might move by 3, I would say.
Okay, because usually, on the show for us, 15 is usually where we're like, okay, we can start projecting blowout. But here, I mean, we know Brooklyn's awful, and I'm not really getting much exposure to that side. But uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
this team won unit with the Mavs, which they did have the good Jalen as well, but the Nets are just significantly worse.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get an update before the stream ends. We have about another half hour here. We'll see.
Yep.
D'Lo is a lock. He's the only guy I'm getting exposure to from Brooklyn over on DraftKings. Is D'Lo a lock today, Smitty?
No, I actually am. What's his ownership? Let me pull up the model.
It's three
Oh yeah, I
percent,
am
but
over.
that's a
I'm
lie.
double the field. I have 8% of them right now, and I'm fine with that.
How are you only getting 8%? I'm getting so much. I need to adjust the point guard, I think, because I'm getting a lot more, and I don't even have them projected well. I don't know. Maybe it's just a salary that fits, but models telling us we don't really have to, play him too hard, especially over on FanDuel 9.6. Like single digit value is awful. Are you okay just fading this whole team over on FanDuel?
Yeah, pretty much. Noah Clowney. Well, I think he's available now, but he did get a late Q tag, so I was kind of interested there. But assuming he's in, I'm not really getting to anybody.
And with Noah Clowney, it's like, man, this guy went from chalk to no one playing him, but his price came up too. And honestly, he's not that good. So even at
Yeah,
1% and 4%, I usually love getting to these guys, after they burn the whole field. But I don't feel that way with Clowney today. Not with D'Angelo back anyway. Over on FanDuel, were you getting any more? Were you getting any on FanDuel though? I know I mentioned that the model's telling us we don't have to.
let me double check.
I'm getting 1% of a bunch of guys. Probably doesn't even stay by the time the game starts.
Yeah, I have like 5% Clowney, 3% Simmons, so just kind of mixed around. But and then I have 2% Claxton. Nothing
Okay.
crazy.
We just got news. Jokic and Aaron Gordon are confirmed playing, and then I feel like did I see something about Cam Johnson pop up?
Wouldn't surprise me.
He was questionable, so I thought I saw a notification with his name. I might be mistaken though. Keep an eye out for Cam Johnson news. I'm not really sure that he's going to open up anything else we're interested on the team, but I guess just makes it uh, less appealing. And if you play NFL, Zay Flowers is out, obviously. So Magic games on the early slate. It's on the main slate over on FanDuel. They run things a little bit differently because they're dumb. I guess we didn't mention Caruso and OKC. Let's go back and talk about him real quick because he's a guy I consider. Definitely still going to prefer those other guys I mentioned and probably Aaron Wiggins if SGA misses. But Caruso at these ownerships, that's actually higher than I thought it would be. But 3,500, 4,300. This is a guy that was showing up in my exposures every day earlier in the season. Not so much anymore, but I like considering him. I don't want to forget about him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I have like 5% of them right now. I'd be fine with that. But if these guys are out, I'll have a little more interest just because of his usage. I just think his minute ceiling is a lot lower.
Yeah, and I'll just point out he's kind of a pivot to Isaiah Joe. Maybe the field's not really high on Isaiah Joe today, and the model is not high on him either. But I don't know. Just point out they're the same price. What team is that Ivba woman guy on? Is that Brooklyn? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Tosan. We'll just call him Tos. Just call him Tosan, man. It's a lot easier for us. I mean, I don't. This is like very, very low DK value projected for 13 minutes. Like I said, I'm not considering the top guys. I'm probably not going to consider the bench here either.
No. No, I like Tosan, but probably not getting there today.
We have another fun one. And next game is Philadelphia, Milwaukee. Decent spread. Do you see an update on Paul George?
No, I haven't seen anything yet on him or Yabusele.
Yeah, both those guys were questionable yesterday. They ended up missing the game. Today, I guess we'll see. But as it is right now, the model has Paul George and Yabu in. So let's talk about it as if that's the case. Tyrese Maxey, you guys know how I feel about Tyrese Maxey, but he's 15 and 26% owned. I'd rather not play him if I can help it, but it's not that big of a slate. So if you got to get there, I don't hate it. And then Paul George, double digit OF index. Rather play Paul George than Maxey today, even though that kind of sucks too. But where are you on those two guys?
Yeah, exactly the same. I'd rather get to Paul George than I would Maxey. You'd probably, if playing Maxey, you'd probably rather Paul George in, honestly. But
Yeah.
getting to a couple percent of Maxey, but I have more Paul George right now.
Yeah, I do too. And then I mentioned yesterday, Kelly Oubre was one of the top plays of the slate. Like the two top plays, according to the model, by the time it was done updating, were Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre, both very strong OF indexes, both very strong value scores. Kelly Oubre doesn't have that today, and so that's something to keep in mind. Different matchup against Milwaukee. Even if these other guys get ruled out, just watch how this adjusts, because I think the 6,100 price on DraftKings at 11%. I still want to take shots. I'm over that currently, not by much. So do like Kelly, not as appealing as he was yesterday though. But see if maybe the model thinks he is after the other guys get ruled out. Anything on Kelly?
No, I'm about with you on Kelly, and then I have a few percent of Eric Gordon as well on DraftKings.
Yeah, that's what next guy I was going to mention. 15 DK value. It's pretty strong. I mean, clearly the best value on this team. 3,300 shooting guard eligible, makes lineups work. Projected for 26 minutes. Did he get close? I mean, I know Ricky Council was the value play you wanted from the Sixers yesterday, but I mean, 30 minutes, 28 minutes. Like out of the last 4 games, he's played 28 plus in 3 of them. He's just not hitting shots.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. Model likes it. This is a 16%. Seems kind of heavy, but I'm not quite at 16%.
No, me neither.
Andre Drummond's already out too. So let's say Yabu's out. What's going on with the center situation here?
Yeah, it could be a mess. I don't know if they start. Let's see. That happened. I can't remember who they started. They didn't start Bona, I don't think.
I'm looking at yesterday's rotation, and so Drummond started, played 7 minutes, and then Bona checked in, finished the first quarter. Drummond started the second quarter, played 8 minutes, but Bona also played alongside of him for a few minutes, so it's not one or the other. They're not direct subs, which makes it tough. Still don't want to. I don't know. I think it might just be Bona, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
feel like great about it.
And Pete Nance maybe gets a few extra minutes.
Smitty, who the hell is Pete Nance?
He's someone they picked up like maybe a week or so ago.
Larry Nance, like.
I honestly don't know who he is, but he like closed yesterday. I'm pretty sure.
Never heard of this guy. Yeah, let's talk about my Lakers going against the Clippers. Why are we not the favorite?
We got to go on the Bucks first.
We got to talk about the Bucks first, right? It's Sunday, guys. It's early. We're getting there, but Milwaukee. Let's see. Brook Lopez, not Brook Lopez. Giannis, top of OF index. Damian Lillard, still double digit OF index. Chris Middleton at 5,300. 7.0 OF index isn't bad. 13 value isn't great, but he's under 10% ownership. I don't know. Brook and Bobby as GPP plays. I think there's some spots on this team. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm getting to a lot of Giannis right now. I was kind of surprised how much I was getting to, but I think with some of this value we have on this slate, it makes sense. Not a ton of high-priced pay-up options, so I think Giannis looks like one of the best ones, even in a large spread. And then Brooke and Bobby, I'm getting to there. I probably wouldn't play them together, but I think they're both good. And then Chris Middleton, like you mentioned, he's just at that price now where you want to play him. When he's at like 6K with his minutes restriction, it's pretty tough to get there. But 5,300, I think, looks pretty good.
Yep, I don't hate it. I'm pretty down on him overall, but at the ownership and price, 25-minute projection, I think we still got to take shots. But Giannis is really the piece I'm getting to most here. Was getting a bunch of Bobby Portis earlier, but I had to lower that because it doesn't feel great in today's slate. Plus, we just got news that Jalen Williams is out for OKC. SGA is in, so we'll come back to OKC in a few minutes and see how that changes the slate. Was Portland the next game?
Your Lakers.
It's my. They all start at 6, right?
Yeah.
Can talk about Portland since I see the question here. Yeah, Portland bigs. Robert Williams already got ruled out, right?
Yeah.
And then was Aiden questionable?
They said, I don't remember if it said available or if he's. It said something like he's trending to play.
Okay, that sounds right. So it sounds like Denny's going to make his return too. Anthony Simons, Q tag. Correct me if we have an update, but yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to go through. We talked about how Aiden is just not on the coach's good side right now. It could get benched at any second. The way I talk about it is like I probably make it seem worse than it is, but Aiden's been bad, man. Are you getting there today with no other centers on the team?
I have 4% Aiton right now. Feels kind of bad, but he's just been bad.
He's been bad. Yeah, and I see a comment in chat. Grant's going to play center. Grant's been bad too, dude. Kamara over Grant at the same price is insane, but that's what we're doing. Worked beautiful yesterday if you listen to the model.
Kamara was really good yesterday.
Yeah, he had like 21 at halftime, finished low 30s, I think, by the end of the game. We love it. Shaden Sharp was being identified by the model yesterday. I don't think he did it, but with Denny coming back, it is going to throw a little bit of a wrench in the lineup. Remember, these guys are priced for Denny to be out, and that's not to say like Denny affects everything drastically, but he would affect it. If Simons is out, maybe that kind of evens it out. I don't know. Are you getting these exposures that these guys are projected for?
I have quite a bit of Simons right now. I honestly don't feel great about it, but it is a good matchup. And then Shaden Sharp, I have 25% on DraftKings, so I guess I'm about right there. But I'm under on most of the other pieces except Tumani, and then I was going to mention I don't have him currently right now, but Jabari Walker, he played pretty well yesterday, backed up Robert Williams. I assume he probably gets some backup center minutes here. With him for 17 minutes at 5%. I think he's pretty good at min price.
Played 20 minutes. Yeah, that's a good shout. I don't know if the industry is going to end up getting there today. Model's not identifying him as a strong value, but at 17 minutes, I mean, even if you give him an extra 3 minutes, he's going to be like, what, up here? But
Yeah.
at 5 and 2%, I feel like this was like an optimizer. Like optimizers love this guy, kind of like they love Jonathan Isaac because his medium projection is really good. But I don't know. We don't necessarily need a ceiling. He's fine. Yeah, I like that call, Smitty.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It's just if you're gonna fade Aiton, I think it makes sense.
And then I'll mention if Anthony Simons misses, definitely don't forget about Delano Banton. It's Sunday. People aren't going to swap as much. There is a pretty decent gap between the games tonight, so maybe people do since the NFL game should be almost over by the time these late games start. But Banton was showing up a lot for me on the previous slate. I think he did not terrible, and then he should look good tonight if Simons misses, so that'll be a big late swap spot.
Yeah, I think him and Scoot are both pretty good off the bench. Scoot at 2% on DraftKings looks okay. He's been really good lately.
Yeah, I think taking a shot for an overpriced Scoot, and I don't even know if this actually is an overpriced. Maybe that's the appropriate price because he's good at basketball now. But taking shots on guys like that is, I think it's good because we're getting such a discount on the ownership, and if that's the difference, it creates such an easy path to taking down a GPP.
Oh yeah.
I need to rebuild everything because I don't know how stuff looks without Jalen, but I don't.
Yeah, I got to do that too.
I don't know the OKC updates though, because like with SGA out, I can kind of just bump the guards up and bump up Jalen, but with Jalen out,
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, the minutes are a lot harder to distribute, like you mentioned Kenrich, but we'll come back to OKC in a minute. Let's talk about Chicago on the other side of this Portland game. This is the highest total of the night, I think, this one in the Sacramento-Washington game. So these are two pretty strong games for fantasy. They're both pulling ownership. The model likes Chicago today. All these guys are model approved value. Basically, everyone on this team, and then Zach LaVine, poor value but strong OF scores. So where are you getting here?
Yeah, I think they all look pretty good. Kobe White is who I'm getting to the most of. Just kind of that mid range, 6,500 on DraftKings. Looks pretty good. Point guard, shooting guard eligible. I currently have 32% of them. And then I'm actually getting to a little bit of Jalen Smith as a value play. I don't hate it. And then Zach LaVine, Giddy, Vooch, I think they all look pretty good. I don't have like a lean on one or the other. Of course, I'd rather play Levine than any of them, but he also is more expensive. So I think point per dollar, I kind of like Giddy.
I could see that on Giddy. I didn't quite get there yet, but I will. Probably just easiest way is just give him another minute. I think I had him a little bit low. Yeah, Jalen Smith was the guy showing up a ton for me. I don't know if it's we have a need for just a cheap center or just any min price guy, but hopefully that evens out after I adjust a couple other guys because it's not great.
Yeah.
What about what about Vooch?
Yeah, I don't mind getting to Vooch. I have less than him than I probably want to, but I think he's pretty good to get to.
Yeah, I wanna bump him up a little bit. Not getting too much right now either, but the model likes him. Best points per dollar play on this team after Kobe White. 12.2 OF index at 8,300 is very strong. Vooch might be a pretty great tournament play tonight. Would you feel any differently about him if Aiton sits?
No, I'd feel the same.
I'll mention the Bulls don't really have a tendency to go small, so even if Portland goes small, I'm pretty confident Vooch will still be on the court, and we know what Vooch does to little guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know what Chicago's goal is, but they're playing to win. So as long as they're playing to win, I think they're all pretty good.
Kobe White, I would say, looks like a really good tournament play. Really strong OF index, good value scores at 6,500, but he is pulling the ownership. I don't think we have to try to get away. I don't mind it. I'm not quite at these ownerships, but I didn't do anything to try to get less. It's just how it shook out. And I'll mention Patrick Williams at 4,300. He exists. That's about it. Anything else on the Bulls?
No, I think that's that's pretty much it. Io's pulling ownership on FanDuel.
I saw
Let
that.
me pull up my FanDuel real quick. I doubt I'm getting there, but
What I'll say is if he actually deserves 17% on FanDuel at 5,300, he definitely deserves more than 0% on DK at 6K.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have about 20% of him, so I think he looks pretty good on FanDuel. I'm not getting there on DraftKings, but like you said, I think he's worth a couple percent.
Unicorn Love says that Aiton's in. Interesting. Clicking Aiton makes you nauseous. I mean, it's just he has a ceiling, sure, but we have some other plays on the slate. I don't think we have to force ourselves to play Aiton. Unless you're Unicorn Love and you're a high risk fellow. Paul likes Jabari Walker. Yeah, it's gonna might fly a little under the radar today. But eight, well, I guess Robert Williams is out too. It is less possible minutes for Jabari. Power wants to play LeBron because of the rare no probable on AD, but if Harden and Powell are out, he won't get a full 4 quarters. Well, Vegas has the Clippers as a favor right now, so they're probably leaning towards those guys playing at least one of them.
I feel like this is a matchup Harden would not miss, but I don't know.
Yeah, let's talk about this right now. Brian, no, we haven't talked about the Clippers yet. We'll get to Kawhi, but let's start on this Clipper side. James Harden, 11.0 OF index. Norman Powell, strong OF index. Vika Zubac, strong OF index. No one stands out. Points per dollar. Zubac is the best play here. He's also the only one really pulling ownership. So were you getting yeah, tell me about your exposure to the Clippers.
Yeah, my highest exposed on DraftKings currently, Zubac. I like that. And then getting to a little bit of Chris Dunn as a value piece. So I think just kind of getting to these cheaper values. That way I can fit studs like Giannis, AD, or whoever else I'm playing. And then James Harden looks okay. I'm kind of below the field right now, but I think I'm with the field. At 4%, I think he's pretty good. But Zubac primarily is who I'm getting to.
Yep. Over on DK, I mean, a few percent of everyone else, 5% of James Harden, so not much there. Kawhi Leonard, 6,200 on FanDuel. I mean, the 7,500 on DraftKings, I'm not considering him. We haven't projected for 25.5 minutes. Did you say you got a couple percent of Kawhi on FanDuel?
No, I actually. Let me see.
Yeah, let me see if I got any.
Yeah, I have 10% of them over there.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good to me. At the price, I don't think that's something that I'd be wanting to get away from.
No, his usage is really good in his minutes.
Let's say one. Well, did you have an update on how probable Harden and Powell are?
No.
I guess I could just check here. I didn't see anything on the underdog Twitter. Let's see, Harden, he's sick. All right.
Well, that's always a 50-50.
Tells us nothing. And Powell, lower back soreness. James Harden, Zubac back. Sounds like Zubac was in already, though. I didn't have him on my thing here. Maybe Zubac's still questionable. And then Chris Dunn might still be questionable. This was posted last night, so maybe something changed. I have them all in, though. I built as if they're all playing.
Yeah, I did too. I just think with the spread, you kind of have to lean that way, and then should have enough exposure at that window to be able to swap.
And a couple games ago, I talked about how Kawhi came back. He's going to eat into usage and minutes for other guys. The prices haven't adjusted. Like, they are adjusting. They're still in the process of adjusting. So maybe this team is slightly overpriced other than Zubac. But again, I think it's okay to pay a little bit more for that ownership leverage if you think they're good
Yeah,
plays. Wallace gets a decent bump without Jalen. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that he's going to be a top 2 value on OKC once we refresh the model. Giannis, AD, or Sabonis. I'm gonna refresh the model and just see what the model.
Giannis.
Pretty sure it's Giannis. Yeah. Dude, DK main. Giannis, Domus, AD. Yeah, it's kind of like they're all in their own tier, so it's not. Those aren't small gaps between them. But Vooch, dude, look how high Vooch is. Vooch is a better play than Anthony Davis today, man. At the same or at $2,000 cheaper. And this, remember, for NBA, this is not price sensitive, so this is just raw projection. Vooch, one of the top plays on the day. Looks like De'Aaron Fox is also one of the top plays at under 9K. Is this a Time Lord game? I mean, he would really be the Time Lord if today was a Time Lord game because he's not playing.
I was so happy being overweight on him yesterday. I was like, this is their showcase game for him, and then he
He
just
put.
played his normal role.
I was gonna say, what do you do? 4-4-3 with 2 blocks, like 20 fantasy points. Congrats, we got exactly what we asked for.
Yep. And I know for a fact, like I swapped off some Sengun for him, like not just Sengun, but uh, I swapped around some and got more Robert Williams, which just killed me.
Damn, one of us said something weird 6 minutes ago. GoFus told us to pause. Gonna have to go back and see. This is an interesting one. I know we still have to talk about the Lakers. It's the last team, though. We have a couple of minutes here. Smitty, do you have a good answer for this? What position is weak today?
I'm
I
not
like
sure.
that
If I had to guess,
question.
it's probably small forward. Let me see.
Typically is, yeah.
Yeah, small forward looks pretty gross.
I just click on what small forwards I'm playing on DK. Kevin Werder, Paul George, Lou Dort.
Yeah, look, and my highest expose is it's bad. Koulibaly, Paul George.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. Small forward's toughest over on DK. So what do we do? How do we get through this? Just filter the model to DK position SF or whatever you're looking for, and just see if anything stands out. I mean, Demar 7K at the 10.4 OF index is good. I know we hate playing Demar, but he does go off. He's pulling the ownership today. Zach Levine's not bad. Norman Powell, Lou Dort. Sort by value too. Pay attention to the ownership and I mean, for me, yeah, I'm probably just going to play a bunch of OKC. I'll get Tumani Kamara in there. And then I was already looking at Corey Kispert earlier. Model's kind of teasing us with him. So I think I'm going to bump Corey Kispert another minute or two.
Yeah, I like that. I have 10% of him right now.
Nice. Nice. I guess we still have to talk about that whole game. So we have 3 teams left. Nice. Doing well today, guys. Is this a 2-center day, Smitty?
Yeah, probably.
Almost always is, isn't it?
Yeah, center or point guard. Yeah, just looking through my top like 10 lineups, it's all double center.
Okay, nice. Jalen Williams has to get a lot of minutes. We hope so. That's the idea. I'm definitely going to hope for it. He got him yesterday after he burned the field the day before, so I'm going back. Vooch put up 65 last game. I hope he puts up 66 today. All right, let's talk about the Lakers before I get too sidetracked here. Yeah, we're tragic, man. Don't know what to say.
Yeah, they're pretty tough to get to. Like I'm not getting to very much. I have a 6% LeBron. If a AD is out, then that probably changes. But as of right now, it's mainly LeBron, Christie, and then I have a few percent of AD.
I only have exposure to Braun and AD from this team. I just don't see who else is playable. Like Austin Reeves at 8,100. I've been talking about overpaying to find some leverage. I'm not thrilled about overpaying for him against the Clippers, so I don't love that. Yeah, that's all I'm getting, and I'm not even really that far over the field on AD and LeBron. Again, like Smitty said, that will change if someone's ruled out, but as of right now, this is a pretty unappealing game. Trying to see. I thought I saw something on the injury report. And then last game, Washington, Sacramento. What kind of spread are we looking at here now? I'm going to refresh the model. To like 17 points.
Yeah, it was 17 and a half. I haven't refreshed either.
So from Washington, it's the same guys I always like. Jovel, Jordan Poole, and Bilal Coulibaly. Not super interested in them today. I don't even have two of those guys at the ownership we're projecting them for. How interested are you in Washington against Sacramento? It's a pace-up game.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. I'm actually getting to quite a bit of Washington right now. Kuzma is my highest exposed, which never feels great, but he does have a ceiling at 6,100. And then Sar, I'm getting to some Sar and Kispert, but I just think I'm playing some Kings players, so it makes sense to run it back with like a Washington piece.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting more exposure to the Sacramento side, and they are the favorite side, 17-point favorites at that. So that's how it should be, I think. But I mean, I don't know. Jordan Poole doesn't quite have that double-digit OF index. This is still strong. Sar at 5,800. This is fine for tournaments. And then Kuz, I pointed out yesterday at 6K. No one wants to play him, but if I'm not, what did he do? Like 38 yesterday. He had a good game.
Yeah, yeah, they are on the back end of a back to back, but I am getting to we talked about Kispert, but then Keyshawn George I think is another one that his minutes are going to be there regardless of how the game script goes. So I think he's always a pretty good GPP play. And then Koulibaly is another one you can run it back with, small forward, so it kind of fixes that position for you. And then Carrington, it's kind of just like all these guys look like the same play, but Carrington looks pretty good, 4,300. I think he's a good GPP play as well.
It's funny you say they all look like the same play because you're naming these guys off, and I'm like, I mean, this is OKC. Just all of them are worse than their OKC counterpart.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Like they're all gonna play pretty decent minutes. They all have similar roles. Like I don't know.
It feels to me like the Nets do on a lot of slates where I know I want to be overexposed to this team. Not by much, doesn't take much. Just it's a really good game for fantasy, but I don't know exactly who I want. I mean, I listed those top three guys, but those, I mean, I guess Jonas is kind of value. He's just like the highest risk player that we can play in DFS right now.
Yeah, yeah. If I was just to narrow it down, I think Kuzma and Sar are my favorite options to get to.
Nice. Other side of this game, Sacramento. I think it's just Keon Ellis on the injury report. I don't know if we got an update on him. It's just questionable. 4 players with double-digit OF index. Domus and De'Aaron stand out at the top. 2 of the top plays of the day for sure. Both pulling heavy ownership, but we have the value to pay for it, so don't mind getting there. And then Malik Monk, DeMar DeRozan, kind of in that next tier of I don't want to call them stars quite yet, but maybe DeMar's a star. Like getting exposure to everyone here. Even Keegan Murray, he looks pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, it's tough not to like this team. I think I have the most of Malik Monk right now, followed by Keegan and Sabonis. I have exactly the same amount of. I think they both look really good. And then Fox, I'm getting to some Fox. 8,600. I think he looks pretty good. I'm under the field on Fox, and I'm overweight on Monk, Murray, and Sabonis currently.
Okay, nice. I don't have this 30% on Fox either. I'm getting a lot of the value guys, actually. I have exposure to this entire team. Trey Lyles, Keon Ellis, and Kevin Werder. That's not great.
Yeah, I have 10% too. This run was before OKC, so I'm thinking that might help kind of clear some of that up.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
Hopefully.
going to have to go over OKC in just a moment. But yeah, either way, I think these guys are decent value pivots. Don't mind mixing them in. Trey Lyles has that power forward eligibility. Like I said, I probably just need a really cheap center because I was getting a bunch of Jalen Smith too, kind of similar guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Devin Carter's out, so I think Keon Ellis and Kevin Herter kind of make sense as value plays, but nothing crazy.
All right, let's take a look at OKC for the updated news. No Jalen Williams. We have Jalen Williams. Hopefully, you guys can hear the difference there. But yeah, no surprise. Kason Wallace, top of value. On FanDuel, it's actually Aaron Wiggins given the price difference, though. So that's something to keep in mind. Aaron Wiggins, the chalk on this team, but Kason Wallace not pulling nearly as much ownership, especially on FanDuel. I'm going to greatly prefer Kason, especially after seeing this projected ownership.
Yeah, definitely.
Jalen Williams, very strong DK value score. And like being in the sevens for OF index when your price is 4K is really, really good. Like Lou Dort's in this category too. Alex Caruso, not quite as strong on the model, but he is a pivot. Kenrich Williams, pivot. I'm surprised Kenrich is predicted for that much ownership. And then Isaiah Joe, I guess, is a pivot too. Anything else you want to like talk about here?
No, as of right now, it looks like I'll get to the most of Aaron Wiggins as far as value goes, and then Jalen Williams. But on FanDuel, at least, I think Wiggins looks pretty solid.
Yeah, man, we were gonna ship with Aaron Wiggins the other day. Or I think we did. We did ship with Aaron Wiggins. We would have shipped bigger with Aaron Wiggins though if he didn't foul out. He's playing so well, dude. And Kason did it too. He was doing great. Love this whole team. What's the most you want to play in a lineup?
I'm not 100% sure yet, but that 63% on Wiggins seems pretty aggressive. Like I probably wouldn't want more than 50% of them.
Yeah, this is a day I definitely want to mix it up. Like I definitely prefer Kason and I mean all these guys, but you got to mix up the exposures. I'm probably just going to play the ownership game. I'll be over on Dort and under on Wiggins.
Yeah.
Maybe over on Jalen Williams, though. He looks really good still.
Yeah, and then SGA, I think, just gets another boost. It's hard not to like him here.
I was going to move on without even talking about SGA. That's so funny, dude. Went up a little bit in the model. I will point out he's the guy, him and De'Aaron, with very, very strong OF indexes and very strong DK value, too. So 10-2, he's projected for all the ownership, but we have all the value to fit him, so I don't think it's difficult.
Yep.
Smitty, Giannis, and Jalen Williams, or Isaac and Jokic for FanDuel?
The first one.
Same. Wallace or Wiggins?
Probably depends on the site.
Yeah, probably depends on the site. Flip a coin, but probably Kason on DK. And then on FanDuel, maybe just lean into Aaron Wiggins a little more. Carrington, yeah, I think Smitty mentioned he liked Carrington. The model doesn't mind him for value. Carrington or George, who's a better play, Smitty?
Carrington.
Let's just see what the model says. Carrington, yep, Carrington best value play on the Wizards on both sides. Wiggins ain't playing more than 20 minutes. It's a little bit weird. We shouldn't be looking at the rotation from last game, which is what people might be thinking about. Aaron Wiggins got that minutes boost with SGA out. What do you think about that comment, Smitty?
Yeah, he was just in foul trouble the whole time. He had 3 fouls in the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't projected for 28. I would be extremely surprised if Aaron Wiggins played less than 20 minutes tonight.
Yep.
Not saying he's going to play the 28, but Wemby was butt today. I didn't look at that game at all, dude. He only had 4 blocks or something. Wallace starts. What do you think the starting lineup is here?
I don't know.
SGA
Should be
Dort. Yeah.
should be
He's
SGA, Dort, Wallace, and I don't know if
Jalen.
they start Wiggins. I don't know who they start at the 4. I'm guessing they probably start Wiggins there.
It's interesting. Yeah. If we get like a random starter in there, remember it's Sunday, there's going to be a big football game going on. Or I guess it'll be over by then. But either way, just pay attention to the swaps. Could be a big spot.
Yeah, like Kenrich probably is due for extended minutes. I don't love the ownership though.
How many minutes for Banton? Right now, we don't even have him projected for 20, but it's going to be tough to play him if Simons is in. Saquon just scored another 80-yard touchdown. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Any final words before we get out of here, Smitty? FanDuel starts in 10 minutes.
No, just be prepared to late swap. We have a lot of late news we're waiting on.
Yeah, do one last look at top OF plays, top DK value, top FanDuel value. Surprise. Vooch, man. I'm telling you, Vooch is my nuke of the night. You have a nuke of the night, Smitty?
Let's see. I'll go. Well, he's kind of high on. I was going to go with another bull with Kobe White, but I'm going to go with Anthony Simons.
Oh, man. Smitty's going for the throat, dude. He took the highest risk you could take just now. All right. You guys heard it here, though. Anthony Simons, Vooch, and Kobe White, one of the top plays in the model, too. So sort by DK ownership, and I will sort by FanDuel ownership. Really appreciate you guys watching. We got Jayhawk in the Discord, right? Yeah. He's getting started right about now, and so he'll talk about FanDuel for a few minutes before moving on to DraftKings. Instructions to join that are in the description below. Really appreciate you guys tuning in on this Sunday. So let's build good lineups. Good luck and enjoy the sweats today. Pretty great sports day.